prince lives here. We got 10,000 lakes. But wait, the women are beautiful. To me they are. And we're not infested with pretentious movie stars. And it hit me, Minnesota is dope. If only simply for not what we have, but what we do.
Welcome to 10 Minutes. I'm Tony Scott, joined in the studio today, Peter Rodney. Merry Christmas, Peter.
Merry Christmas.
It's going to be an awesome Christmas. Any big plans?
No.
No big plans, huh?
No. You know, as you get older and as your parents get older, your circle for Christmas just kind of shrinks.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, having a sister in California and a sister with a whole nother in-law family to visit.
Plan around them, right?
Right.
Welcome to being the youngest. Welcome to being the youngest.
I like it.
All right. We got a really fresh show.
Fresh.
I would say almost 90%. We measured it all out. It's fresh content.
I'd say
a couple rehashes.
92%.
Couple rehashes, but for the most part, it's all fresh here today. We got a Squirts, Pee-wees, Bantams, girls, obviously boys and girls high school. Got some good features on the show, some pick'ems, some booms, and obviously a game puck.
Let's roll.
Let's roll. All right, here we go. Squirts. Hermantown comes down. Squirt A. They lose in the final at Cloquet the weekend before, and then they come down and they sweep through the Twin Cities, beat some good teams. They beat Eden Prairie. They beat Minnetonka. They beat Orono. I mean, that's a good run.
All solid crops.
I think that's
right
a good
there.
squad. Probably one of the top 5 teams in the state after that performance.
Yeah.
What shows is Jefferson, who won that Cloquet tournament, loses to Minnetonka 8-3 the week, the Monday after the tournament. It shows there's so many teams that are top 10 quality here.
That always makes it a more exciting year.
Big time. Speaking of exciting, you're probably excited to cover a lot of squirt hockey down next week at the Pond New Year's Challenge.
The Pond, Rosemount.
3rd year in a row down there. You're probably a veteran at the Pond now.
I've got a whole routine when I get down there.
Yes,
I stop in the office. I say hello to the dog. I say hello to Marianne.
Not Gilligan, but Marianne.
Not Gilligan. I climb up to the perch and I take some photos and I watch some really nice squirt hockey.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to watch 3-on-3. You get to see a lot of skill, a lot of speed. This year we're looking at Potter's Elves as the favorites to win the New Year's Challenge.
Well, they won I'm assuming it's the same group of kids.
As Potter's Pumpkins. They won the Spooktacular.
Yeah.
So Potter's Elves.
Speaking of that, Rogers of the Squirt level, Rogers, #1 in Squirt A, and one of their Squirt B teams is #1 in Squirt B. A thing of look out for the future in Rogers hockey. What a beautiful rink they have in Rogers.
I have yet to go to the Rogers
tournament
rink.
there in 2014 Bantam AA.
Well, it feels like the past 5 years, anytime I've gotten on the road to go to Rogers, I've taken a sudden turn and gone to Elk River instead.
Yes,
so.
that can happen. All right, switch gears to Pee-wees. Our Now Prospects Combine, which will have first and second year Pee-wees in it next summer down at the U of M with assistant coach Scott Bell.
All right.
Those invites will go out January 1st. So
wow.
Stay tuned to YHH. We'll be inviting 90 players for 85 spots.
Talk about a happy new year.
Yes, it will be. All right, let's talk a little puck.
All right.
Last weekend up at Amsoil, Moorhead traveled all the way across the state. People don't know. I was kind of foreign to this. I didn't know my geography well. Moorhead to Duluth is no easy trek.
No, it's not.
And they did it, and they played well. The Spuds played really well. They lost one and tied one with the #1 team in the state. Last game was pretty exciting, 8-7.
Ooh,
Sunday afternoon.
I like it. Spicing up a Sunday.
Got a new feature today on Pee Wee Hockey. We talk about the top 8 teams in Pee Wee AA probably ad nauseum, and I think they're all can beat each other, that's for sure. Chaskatchan, Rosemount, Stillwater, Woodbury, Edina,
OMG,
all those teams, Rosemount, they're all there, right? They're good. We talk about them all the time. We're not going to talk about them.
They feel like my own kids at some point.
So I want to talk about what I like to call the other 5. When we're doing rankings each week, let's go see how the other 5 did and which one of those is going to make up the top 10, round out our top 10. Those are Moorhead, we just talked about. Farmington's got a good squad.
They do.
Lakeville South, defending champs in the Founders Cup last year. They'll be back. They got a good coaching staff. Got a couple good lines there. Do the Cougars. That's one of those teams I always keep an eye on. Rogers, we talked about just a minute ago. They got a great squad this year. And Rochester. A lot of those teams will be, all of them except Moorhead, will be at the Founders Cup down in Rochester.
You know, I really started to like that Farmington team after the Big Pumpkin. They stayed close in a lot of games, and if they figure out maybe how to put teams away, Tigers.
That's one of those teams like sneaky. They could win the Founders Cup pretty
Sneaky
easy.
good.
All right, and we'll shout out to PBB team. Who's that this week?
Edina Green.
Number 1, Edina Green.
14 straight wins. Someone
impressive.
stop the Hornets.
Someone stop them. They were good last year too, so shout out to them. Let's quickly move on to Bantams. The Bantam Elite League is happy to announce 3 new players invited to the league. Charlie Strammel, an underager from Rosemount. From Rosemount, we've seen Charlie play umpteen games already.
And score umpteen goals.
Oh my goodness, I saw him in Chicago, play down at the CCM Invite. Anthony Madigan played on our Great Plains team, plays for Sibley's Bantam team. He was added to the Bantam Elite, invited to the Bantam Elite League. And Sam Rice, a guy we saw for Prior Lake, he made one of the best hits I've seen all year. And Sam's about this high. Just drilled a guy, and he got great balance, just ferocious around the puck.
Tough kid.
He was invited to the league as well. So congratulations to those 3. About a handful more will be invited as the season progresses, and we'll announce it right here on YHH.
Excited to see who those other players will be.
All right, so am I. Let's switch gears a little bit, go off to girls youth hockey, and then we'll go to girls high school. Talk a little bit about some of your favorite moments from the Dangle Fest last weekend. I'm going to give you one of mine. This is like as far removed in the 10As as you could possibly be. The 5th, 6-team tournament, the 5th, 6th game. That should be like the worst game, you know?
Yeah.
It turned out to be one of the best games of the entire weekend.
One of the most fun games to watch, for sure.
Late goals in the game. Just shrieking on both benches. They're screaming, and then it goes into overtime, excitement, and then it goes into a shootout, and then the game winner scored by Alice Terwilliger on a sweet snipe.
That was pretty cool to see.
So it was exciting. So that was one of my 10 A takeaway.
There was more enthusiasm in that last
great
game than I've ever seen in a game like that before.
It was great. And then on the 12A, a player that I just was awesome all weekend. Fargo's Taylor Brewski. She had a hat trick on Saturday. She had an amazing goal on Sunday in the semifinal. She's a player that just really stood out to me.
I think she ended with 5 goals over the tournament. Another player that I really like, Taylor Zahalka from Champlain Park. She finished 2nd in the 10A division in assists.
Yep, she was good.
Learning to help.
Players on that Champlain Coon Rapids team.
Absolutely, learning to help at an early age with the 3 assists. Out of the 12As, I liked Kendra Distad a lot. Kendra is she's kind of a known commodity. Had 5 goals over the weekend. Kendra's got some really, really nice moves on the ice.
First year 12A, so just a kid that. Yeah, how well she's doing right now.
If you watch her skate, she's like a slalom skier.
Yeah, she's talented, no doubt about it. So, good call there. Let's switch gears to girls high school.
All right.
What happened last night or Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, Warroad took down Thief River Falls in Class 1A action. That was our pick'em game, one of our pick'em games.
Yeah, you got it right, but I'm just saying Warroad's number 1.
Warroad is number 1, 3-0 over the Prowlers. Kind of a rivalry game for both
Big
teams.
Time.
We'll keep an eye out for stats. Still waiting on those.
All right, there's a team in Class A. We like to talk about teams other than Blake and Edina, right? That's kind of our shtick here until it's Edina Blake week.
Exactly.
So let's talk about a Class A team that's kind of red hot right now down in southern Minnesota. Tell me about it.
The New Ulm, what is their mascot? The Eagles? Is it the Eagles? It's the Eagles. The New Ulm, 10-2 on the season, led by Allie Bolts.
Listen to this. This is great. Go ahead. Belts,
not Bolts. Belts has got 29 goals.
50 points.
And 50 points in 12 games.
Them.
I don't care who you're playing. If you've got 50 points in 12 games,
she's good.
That is worth a shout out. She good. Yeah.
All right, double A. What's our feature team? I mean, you could just go on and on. I mean, I'm going to go over here and take a nap, and you just rave about Andover, okay?
See, here's the deal. People might say, you talk about Andover all the time. But if Andover was any other team, we would talk about them. They've won 5 straight.
Let's just say they were Team X that just won 5 straight.
So if you look at Team X's intangibles, won 5 straight, cracked the rankings, play a very tough schedule, we would talk about them. So we're going to talk about Andover. Saw Andover defeat Minnetonka on Tuesday night. They got a lot of nice players. Claire Buterak, Peyton Hemp, Gabby Kraus. Keep an eye on the Huskies.
There was one was a softball commit or something on that.
Senior Grace Halverson is committed to Bethel for hockey and softball.
That's impressive.
One of just 2 seniors on the Huskies.
Impressive. All right, switch gears over to the boys. We're flying.
We are
flying.
Too close to the sun.
High school, let's talk a few little bullet points about high school. Jake Seitz is like second in the state in points behind George Grant.
Right behind George.
10 goals, 17 assists, 27 points. I'm going to see Jake Seitz for the first time since he was in the Bantam Elite League 3 years ago. Jake played on line with Tyler Watkins and Blake McLaughlin.
You want to tell us who the second line was?
I don't know, but Gavin Hain was on it, which is interesting. Just think about that. Gavin Hain was on the second line. I mean, and there was a good line too, but I think he was with Mayhew and Ian Mayhew and Levi Stauber.
That's one heck of a second line.
The team was unbelievable. I'm just telling you, they won the championship game 7-0. That was an unbelievable team. So let's talk a little bit about. We'll see Jake this weekend. Jefferson travels up to the Ryan Range. They'll play Virginia at 7:30 on Friday, and they'll play Hibbing on Saturday at 2 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Games will be live streamed on YHH. Fingers crossed on that Hibbing game. Fingers crossed. The internet in the Memorial Building isn't as nice as the actual Memorial Building is. So
I like how you're at the mercy of a bunch of wires.
You are totally at the mercy of it. So hopefully we can pull that one off. I want to talk a little bit about 6AA.
I like this section. I like it a lot.
Yeah. So Edina's number one. Clear cut, number one team in the state, gonna go undefeated, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
Let's talk about 2 through like 6 or 7.
All up for grabs.
Up for grabs. I mean, I wouldn't want to be at this seating meeting. It's not gonna be pretty.
I do want to be at that seating meeting.
I would too,
I just want to hang out.
It would be good. So you got Wayzata, who's probably number 2 because they just beat Cretan, right?
Fair.
And then Cretan 3 locked in. They played Edina close on Tuesday night, right?
Exactly.
So they're good. And then now you got a bunch of teams that are playing some good hockey. You got number 4 probably has been nailed at this point. And then number 5 would be St. Louis Park, but they play Friday, right? So that could decide a lot.
And don't forget about Armstrong.
And don't forget about Armstrong. I mean, that's a team. They tied Maple Grove. Maple Grove beat Elk River. So you know that Armstrong has got a good group of kids. So that team...
That can make some noise in 6AA.
I mean, people talk about 2AA all the time. Blah, blah, blah. Jasper.
I like 6AA.
Division I commits this, and Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, Holy Family. I think this is a deepest section in the whole state. Right?
I wouldn't argue with that.
I mean, normally it's 7AA, but I think that this year it's 6AA.
If St. Louis Park is going to be considered the 5th seed in this section,
they beat Lakeville South, who's probably the number 1 seed.
And they've got a group that's been together for a while and a group that had a lot of success at the Bantam level.
I agree. So good.
6AA.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one, that's for sure. Last but not least, let's switch our gears over to our new number 1. What's interesting about this new number 1? Mahtomedi is number 1, right?
For the
5-0-1.
For
first time ever.
First time in Youth Hockey Hub history, Tony Scott has ranked a team above Hermantown in the Class 1A rankings.
It was probably the longest streak ever. I mean, we've been doing high school rankings for 4 years. I'm like, just put Hermantown number 1. Hermantown.
I won't argue with it. The Zephyrs 5-1 on the season.
Absolutely.
They've won 5 straight. They've got depth all across the lineup.
And we won't give away our shocker as the reason why Hermantown's number 2. We'll get to that later. Talk a little bit about a couple top players. I saw this Mahtomedi team play over at the Rec Center against North St. Paul. One of them happens to be a new transfer, Corey Polarski's from North St. Paul. He's a big booster. He's one of their top scorers. Sam Ide is one of their top scorers.
Polarski and I both have 9 points.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
So they're the top scorers.
Deep, balanced, everyone returning. They beat Northfield handily on Tuesday night. This is the number 1 team.
Taking care of business.
Taking care of it. All right. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about our question. Our question this week is, what is your favorite pump-up song? If you were playing today, what song would you want to go take the ice to?
You know, I know that I discussed The Best of You by Foo Fighters earlier.
Oh, wow, because that's what's up on the board right now.
It is, but I'm going to change it right now because I feel like The Best of You is better for a highlight video. So I'm going to go with Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Most cliche.
You turn it, you crank it up a little bit, you got the kids running on the ice. Exit light.
Okay, good for you.
I'm so stoked right now.
You know, I went with, we're talking the most cliched entrance song of all time.
Cliches are cliches for a reason.
I'm going to take your cliche and match you even more cliched.
All right.
But for some reason, this song just jacks me up. And it's Let's Get It Started by a Black Eyed Peas. Love it.
Okay.
I'm just a big peas guy, I guess.
My band could kick your band's butt.
Okay, no, I'm not going to argue that because I think Fergie's got some divorce trouble, so she's probably focused on a lot more things than beating up your band right now, right?
Darn.
All right, let's switch gears now. We've been switching a lot of gears today. Go to the tweet of the week. A lot of good
Tweet of the week.
A lot of good semifinalists, finalists for this. But I think our winner is going to come out of Hermantown. Hermantown's big on the show this week. We talk about their squirts. We've talked about their high school team. They're going to be one of our shockers, right?
But shout out to Joe Pionk.
He was on Game On, he was a high school manager of the year finalist.
Well, Joe Pionk still proving his mettle, showing off his home ec skills, sewing up a Hawk jersey.
Yeah, and he had a good one-liner in there too. So I like that tweet. Shout out to Joe for making
another Pionk making headlines.
Yeah, they're always making they're always making headlines. All right, I think there was 2 shockers this week. Which one do you want? Do you want the south of the river, or do you want the Section 7A? Which one do you want?
I'm going to take south of the river.
Right.
I'm going to take Apple Valley's win over Lakeville North. 2-1, so a low-scoring game, but Apple Valley not on anyone's radar.
None. No one's radar.
But coming up with a big win over the perennial Section 1.
My definition of shocker is when I look at the tweet, when it comes out, I go,
think,
whoa, what? This one, I think, is more of a shocker because it's my boys, Hermantown, tied on home ice against New Prague. I just didn't see that one coming.
Neither did I.
Neither did I. That's the definition of a shocker.
I consider me shocked.
All right, moving on to predictions. We have 4 games. Somebody did pretty well last week. You went 3-1. And I went 1-3.
Yeah, you
now
did.
Knotted up at 5. I'm 5-8-1, and you're 5-8-1.
We're not very good at this.
Well, part of those predictions are tournament predictions, not
That's
individual games, and the other is we can't pick the same one. So
that's fair.
Like I got Andover 10A that was the only one I got right. It was probably the easiest pick in hockey history. They were unquestionably the best 10A team in the state and in that tournament.
And I got Andover in 12A.
And you got Andover 12A, which someone had to take the upset bits. We were both going to get one wrong there unless Andover got beat. Actually, Edina was flip of a coin.
We went to a 7-round shootout in that championship game.
Great game. All right, so we're going to start. Speaking of 12As,
yeah,
we got a 12A game to predict.
All right.
It's an interesting one, okay? I got a team that's both ranked about the same in our staff rankings, give or take the week. They're playing each other. One of them is undefeated. Waconia still undefeated, taking on Orono West Tonka.
Oh.
I have not seen Waconia, but I see their scores, and I'm impressed.
We see you, Waconia.
We see you.
But in this case, I'm going to take Orono West Tonka. I'm going to go with what I've seen so far.
And it's a very good known commodity. Let me tell you, that's a good squad. They skated really well with Edina. Edina just made plays and figured out a way to get the puck in the net.
Yeah, I got to see a lot of Orono West Tonka over the weekend. I really like Sidney Leonard from that team, and I think they pull out the win over Waconia.
All right. I'm not going to argue with it, but I'm going to go with Waconia.
Contrarian.
All right. Thursday night, Bantam Single A, little inter-district game between Osseo Maple Grove and Delano. I'm hoping to check that game out if I get all my Christmas shopping done, that is.
What do you get me?
Big game. Oh, just wait. I'm going to stick with the state's #1 team, Osseo Maple Grove.
Fair. I'm going to take Delano.
Got Delano.
I like the upset.
This is how we come up with these picks.
I like the upset in this one.
We can't have an upset. We can't have a pick that we don't agree on. So this one, I agree. It's Osseo Maple Grove. You agree. It's
you just you tether your horse to a post and you host that post wins.
Good squad. I like the team. They've had some big wins. I'm going to go Osseo Maple Grove. Girls high school.
All right.
I got mine wrong last week. You got you picked Warwood. I picked Thief River.
We got a little Section 4 AA action. We've got Forest Lake taking on Cretin-Derham Hall, and I am going to take the Raiders.
I like that pick. I really do, but I think I'm going to go with the team that made it to state last year. I think they're going to go back to state again this year. They got a really good young crop of players who I saw a ton of when they were in their youth. They won a state title. Yep. I'm going Forest Lake.
I think Forest Lake might have the edge in goaltending, but I do think Cretin-Derham Hall might have the edge up front.
Yeah, I think you could be right there.
That's what we call analysis.
That's good. Really good. Final pick'em. We're going to go with one of the storied rivalries in the whole state, history of our state.
These games are so
Going back
much
30 or
fun.
40 years. White Bear Lake and Hill Murray.
Yeah.
This one's an easy pick for me. I think
Fine.
White Bear Lake is clearly the better hockey team. They're deep. They have experience. They got goaltending. They got the whole package.
And in this pick'em, we actually didn't say, okay, well, you take this team and I'll take this team.
This is not
I
scripted.
picked Hill Murray right out of the gate. I'm going to take the Pioneers.
No, I know. I'm not a believer yet in the Pioneers.
Well, who settled the West?
I don't know.
It was the Pioneers,
Oh.
not Bears.
The Bears. The Bears settled in the.
Nope.
did.
We'll argue
They were
about
there
it.
first. The Pioneers came there and drove them out of their land.
Yeah, that's fine.
Bears are gonna be mad about that.
We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the Pioneers.
I'm just telling you. All right, here we go. On to the boom roasted. All right.
Let's roast.
I'm going first. I'm
Good.
hot today. Really hot today.
Throw your gauntlet down.
My boom roasted goes out to Mr. Anonymous. This guy comes in all shapes and sizes.
It's my favorite.
They come on the email. They send you an email, a nasty email, right? Or they go on the message board and they say something really nasty to you. Or they go on Twitter. My favorite Twitter is the guy who's with the fake Twitter accounts. Those guys, like J-Bones, goes on there and says something like, I don't mean to do this. I'm like, if you're going to say something negative, I'm okay with it. But if you're doing it in your mom's basement, hidden behind a name, you get a boom roaster from me, probably on an annual basis. So this is the annual boom roast to Mr. Anonymous out there who goes after not just me or you or anyone else, it's anybody out there. We see it all the time.
I do love the threads on Twitter where people argue about specific players.
Yeah.
And totally gloss over the fact that these are, children playing a game.
Yeah, they're ripping on kids.
I know.
Come on, man.
Twitter should be for fun.
All right, here we go. What's yours?
Mine is the lack of creativity from student sections that I've seen this year. I have been sorely disappointed with almost every high school game I've been to. No energy, no enthusiasm, no chants, no cheers, not even booze.
I saw a good one.
You saw one good one.
Saw a good one.
Okay,
I
we
haven't
got
been paying
one.
that close of attention.
We got
I'm
one.
Usually shooting photos and not paying attention.
Fair.
But I was able to pick up a pretty good student section from Edina. And
Oh.
granted, Edina is #1 in the state. They're crushing everybody. So if you're an Edina student,
You should
there's
probably-
good reason to come out and watch. I mean,
should probably be
jump
there.
on that bandwagon, right? So they had a big section at the Edina Classic for all 3 games, and they had some good chants, and they were into it. I definitely tip my hat to the Edina.
You might have to make it out to an Edina game eventually.
Yes, you will. Eventually. Eventually you will. All right, let's do our game pucks. What's your game puck this week?
My game puck is going to go out to the Dangle Fest in general, just from an administrative standpoint.
Start over.
My game puck is going to go out to the Dangle Fest in general from an administrative standpoint. It was a breeze. We had a lot of fun at Eden Prairie, so game puck to the Dangle Fest.
It was a good event. Girls were amazingly easy to work with and really fun to cover. A lot of excitement, especially the screaming. I mean, that's different than boys. You don't see them screaming. When they score, they go crazy.
The enthusiasm didn't drop off once all weekend.
No, not at all. All right, my game puck goes out to new sponsor Factory Motor Parts for investing in YHH, where they've invested in 40 games,
40.
live stream free for you as viewers to watch.
Wow.
Pretty exciting for us to add that many games that are coming up. So when you see lots of live streams going up on the site, that's because of Factory Motor Parts. So huge shout out to them making it easy. And lastly, my last game puck goes out to my wife's Uncle Pete.
Yay.
Everyone likes a Peter, right? Yeah. Well, Uncle Pete turns 100 today, which is pretty amazing feat, and I figured it would be necessary to talk about on this show.
Wow.
So, happy birthday to Uncle Pete. Merry Christmas to this Pete.
Merry Christmas, T.
And Happy New Year to everybody out there. And thank you for tuning in to 10 Minutes.
And if you ain't gonna leave, cause this is where you're from, say